Welcome, everybody. It's Fans of Patrol time. With me is Montago Bradley, host of Fans of Patrol. I'm expecting my co-host to be here any second, but we going live, man. And live means live, not live delay. So I gotta, do my duties and crack the whip and just get the show on the road. Anyway, man, welcome to Fans of Patrol. If you're new here, thank you for tuning in. This is where we just come in here and we talk about nerd, geeky. I don't even know if still call it nerd, geeky and type of stuff anymore. So I decided I said I'm gonna stall because I'm waiting for Tiff to come. But so I started looking at like nerd news because I haven't looked at it in a long time, and I still see that like all the channels are still nerd this, geek that, all that stuff. Uh, but we do got a great show coming for you today. We are going to talk about Stephen King's The Long Walk. And haha, I got to go over here because normally it's a split, it's a split screen. And so we're going to do The Long Walk, and we'll get into that a little bit more when Tiff gets on board. Um, and it's been a hell of a week, y'all. It's been a hell of a week, and this show is escapism first and foremost. And so I understand that folks don't come here for the goofy stuff, and so I'll try not to bring too much reality into our show. um, but what can I do? uh, Thank you, thank you. So Wizard Podcast, um, one of our oldest friends. So anyway, man, I was looking into some nerd news before, trying to get something real quick before Tiff could get on board, and I was like, I saw this article saying, it was a bunch of stuff. One of them was, battle for another review, one battle after another. Leonardo DiCaprio, light political fire. With that movie, which I'm interested to see. If you haven't seen it, the trailer for that looks pretty good. But then something caught my eyes. It was that Den of Geeks posted it and said, "Have we forgotten Batman is for kids?" And they showed a emo picture of Robert Pattinson looking really, really emo. And I beseech you with that garbage because Batman 1969, arguably, is it 67? I think it's 67. With the bang and the pow, that was arguably for kids, but it almost wasn't. It was almost like for a bunch of adults who had taken drugs and tripping and stuff, and and just it was something to watch when you was doing that. I enjoyed it as a little kid, but do it was stupid. But if you've been a Batman fan throughout the years with the reading the comics, you know that Batman has been the most like what darkest characters like that you can buy, that was mainstream. I mean, and really, really rated R at times. So it's just like, what are you talking about? We like Batman being dark and broody and all that other stuff. And then they make cartoons for the kids. So, leave the movies like the way they are. I would love to know other people's opinion on that. Not that there's anything Batman going on, but I was reading his articles and stuff like that. And I'm stalling for my good friend here who can jump on the phone, to join us. I'm gonna let her know. Phone, god damn it, phone. Stop messing around with your shitty computer. Um, and like if she's not here soon, I'm just gonna go ahead with the review because I'm super duper duper anxious to talk about this movie. And uh, I got a lot to say about it, as far as what was going on. And here's a very pixelated Tiff trying to trying to break through.
Shit, are you serious? To me, it looks fine.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Well, maybe for me, no. If what I see is what the fans see, so it's getting better. It's it takes a minute for it to catch up. How are you this morning, Tiff?
Stressed?
Well, I'm more stressed than you. I've been sitting here talking about stuff that don't
I
matter.
think I'm impressed by you. I'm impressed by you.
But you know what? I don't want to fool around with the fans no more, man. As far as like we say we go in and then we just don't and we don't communicate.
I
It's all
knew this process was going to take. I've been doing this for an hour now, and I just got on.
time for a new computer, Tiff. It's been
Yep, going
about 10
today. I'm
years.
going as soon as I leave. As soon as I get off this, I'm going to go to Best Buy and just buy something. I don't give a fuck.
Tiff, how
But
old is your computer? How old is your computer? Let's tell the
I
people.
don't know. I think 10 years
Ballpark,
old. Yeah,
10 years
old.
old.
Yeah.
Anybody in tech knows that 3 years is a dinosaur, right? You know what I mean? Like,
Uh,
I mean, that's really a dinosaur. And so, like, um, yeah,
it's
yeah,
just hard to, I know this sounds stupid. It's just hard to buy it because first and foremost, I'm really poor. It's hard to understand how poor. I don't, you know what I mean? I don't have that extra money. But also because I only really use it for this and writing. So like I only notice it every once in a while. You know what I mean? When it's irritating the shit out of me.
yeah, yeah.
So, but
Well,
yeah, it's time. It's a dinosaur. It's a beyond dinosaur. This is a living. This is a zombie computer. This is living dead.
it's a relic. It's something that Indiana Jones would dig up. So,
Whoo. Okay, I'm here, and
yeah,
I know we're gonna talk about
the long
the
walk.
long walk, but
Yes.
I wondered, I didn't wasn't sure if you had seen the trailer for the Anaconda movie.
I had none, and I would have it queued up. I haven't seen it or anything, So when I didn't know they were doing it, and then I saw it, and I saw Jack Black, and I was like, I didn't like the first Anaconda movie, you know what I'm saying? And so I know this one is it's got to be you say Jack Black is a comedy, right? It got to be a
Right.
comedy, right?
Correct. Correct.
Yeah. So no, I haven't seen it, Tiff. Unfortunately,
I would be curious to know what you have to say about it. Because it does. Well, we'll wait because you haven't seen it, but
Yeah, I don't know when that movie comes out.
oh, it's not for a while. You
Okay,
have
so
plenty of time to see this trailer.
yeah, well, maybe we'll check it out next week, just to see what was going on. So man, you know, you rescued the viewers because I was literally about to get into what's been happening in censorship in our in our stratosphere here. Everybody, I mean, well, I don't know, a lot of geeks don't pay attention, and a lot of nerds. And I was saying those terms, and I was like, do people even say those words anymore? I don't think so. Anyway, I'm not going to get into all the stuff because I understand our podcast is escapism, but I just hope that, it doesn't come a time where fuckers interfere with what's going on these channels because I just feel like this would be next, like not our show, like the platform itself,
Sure.
you know, um, YouTube and, all the free stuff, the unregulated stuff, barely regulated stuff right now, you know. So I don't know if you had anything to say about that.
Well, yeah, it's really scary that that would happen. Like that what had happened because regardless of saying whatever, we don't want the power of censorship. Like, you know what I mean? That's free
Ever.
speech. We don't want that.
Ever. I grew up with folks on a certain side of the aisle acting a fool about comic books, literally having Senate hearings over them, cartoons, Senate hearing over them. Uh, what else did they have? Oh, rap music. They had
Video games.
many video games. I think they combined rap music and video games at one time. And it was always just like, holy shit, holy shit, holy shit, and over time, we would, lose, my interest of, just free speech, we would lose and then gain it back quickly, and so you take a couple steps back. I mean, it started way back with Stan Lee with uh, the comic book code. That's why that was invented to try to get around. They tried to regulate themselves because they were talking about shutting down comic books way back, in the what had to be like the 60s or something like that, because of some of the stories that was coming out. That was really social commentary. Most of the stories they really wanted to censor were social commentary. And then it was like, no, this is bullshit. So then they decided to regulate themselves, which, anyway. Even the black labels on CDs and all this stuff came from,
Right.
the industry self-censoring itself. And so anyway, hopefully that never happens here. But what are we here to talk about today? And I'll switch
Long one.
back over to what I was doing. So how was your audio, Tiff? We did no tests and stuff.
Sounds good to me.
Okay. It's all
But again, this is reporting live from, the
yeah,
Jurassic period.
yeah, it's all cool. So so today we're gonna be talking about the Long Walk and Stephen King based on a novel that I believe he did in like
This is
1970.
is it a short story, not a novel?
Yeah, but way back in 1970, man, it's very, very old. And at the time, it was viewed as a commentary on no, the masses thought it was a commentary on Vietnam, but Stephen King said it wasn't. Anyway, so that's what we're doing today,
It
man.
certainly seems like it.
Well, it seems like a whole bunch of stuff today.
Yeah, I feel like my little brother asked me if I was going to see this movie a couple weeks ago, and I didn't know we were doing it for the show at the time.
Mhm.
And he said, "Well, what do you think about that?" And I said, "Looks like one of the ones he wrote when he was doing a lot of cocaine." He was like, "What if they just walked?" You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't mean it's bad. Some really good
Yeah,
stuff came out of the cocaine years. I'm just saying. That's
cocaine
one of them.
years.
That's one of them.
Right. Oh shoot. I don't know, man. So I can get into it. I'm ready to. I'm ready to
I'm ready to talk about it.
do our duties and
I'm
stuff.
fresh off it because I went and saw it last night, full theater.
I saw it at 9 in the morning, and
Mm. Ooh.
and I mean it was a guy.
9 in the morning. I can't imagine watching this shit at 9 in the morning.
It's three. There's a guy sitting 3 seats down away from me, and I really wanted to bully him and be like, "Get your ass out of here!"
Was he eating a
Uh,
hot dog?
no, I wasn't eating a hot dog, but it was maybe a few people. The next show was at 12, and I didn't want to waste my whole Saturday in a goddamn theater. I don't like
Mhm.
that, y'all. I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't want to be sitting there all damn day waiting for goofy stuff to happen. For my day, I like to get that shit out the way. Because movies get in the goddamn way. You go to the movies at 3 o'clock, you come
It's
out and it's like,
right, your whole day. And it's not like fine, whatever. But like since we see movies so often too, it does like every weekend, in the theater. We used to not so much anymore, but like, when you'd be like every weekend and then movies would be 3 hours long and then the previews, you're out 5 hours on a Saturday. And then you gotta do all your other Saturday shit.
yep, 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 yep. So if I see a 9 or a 10,
Mm.
no,
You're like, here's the thing. I did look for an early showing. We
yep,
didn't have any here.
yeah, yeah. Well, like
Earliest was
I
like
said,
11, which isn't bad, but
last week The Conjuring was like 9, 9:30, 10, 10:30,
right,
the
lots of
whole damn day.
options.
Right. Today was like 9:30, 12:30, 2:30,
Yeah, yep.
7:30.
That's it. That's all you get, motherfucker. You
Yeah.
plan your day around this shit and it's crazy because like my theater, like I said, full.
Wow. Yeah. Well, that's interesting. Just to bring it up, where am I at here? I'm trying to right here. So far, this is the second weekend for this thing, right?
Okay.
So opening weekend, it made $11 million. Um,
Well, really,
cost
how much did it cost? Like $3?
cost no. You would think, right? You would think, right? Right? I mean, right? Because you got the old, you got I mean,
Some
equipment was
pavement and
old.
some kids, some tennis shoes and some kids.
No, it cost twenty
I
million
see
dollars.
that.
Cost twenty
I
million dollars to
see
build.
that.
So
How?
far, it's only made $21 million.
Yeah. Come on, guys. Why did that cost you $20 million?
It, I would imagine, was the salaries. They filmed it in Winnipeg, Canada.
Yeah,
So
sure. The
it was like,
salaries, yeah.
but I don't even know why the salaries is that high. I mean, the top
Yeah.
bill was Mark Hamill. Come on,
No, Cooper Hoffman has got some stuff going.
who the hell is Cooper Hoffman?
That's Philip Seymour Hoffman's son.
Oh well,
He's
look,
he's the lead. He's the lead.
I
Um,
understand, and I looked him
I'm
up.
just saying.
And
I
I'm
bet
mostly impressed.
he might have cost money. Is what I'm saying. Not saying he's more famous than Mark Hamill, of course.
Okay, because I looked up people, because when I saw the
Oh
thing,
yeah, because a lot of these people are first timies. It feels like.
uh, and so and
Go on.
he was the least impressive. The most impressive was David Johnson, who was my guy from the only thing that I liked about Romulus, that Alien Romulus. That
Mm-hmm.
guy is effing phenomenal, man, and I'm looking for more from him. I mean, but I was like, he did a lot. He's done a lot. He's British, of course. A lot of shows and stuff like that. Like,
Mm.
a lot of stuff. So I was looking. I was like, well, who sucked up the money? Maybe it was Stephen King. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Yes.
Because $21 million. I mean,
Hoo-wee.
20 is what 20 million is what it made. It's made $21 million. It cost $20. $20. $20.
Give
$20
me
million.
honestly, give me $20. I could also make this movie.
I thought it was gonna be dirt. I thought it was gonna be like
Dirt cheap. Dirt
5
cheap.
million. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the stuff that makes you go. So you watch it and you're like, and then afterwards you're like, this costs $2.50, and you're like, God damn.
Yeah. That's That's what I thought I was gonna see.
I
So
mean, I guess like in the terms of like movie making now, 20
yeah.
million is on the low end, but it's certainly not surprisingly low.
Was The Conjuring lower than this? I can't remember.
The
Like
first Conjuring?
no, like last week's the one
Oh
you
no,
did.
there's no way. Those movies have gone up in budget.
Jesus, I'm just saying 20 million. I thought I
Yeah,
literally
here's the thing. Didn't look like 20 million.
see. This is what I'm gonna say. I was guessing in the theater and I said it's 11 million. You know,
Yeah, like 10 million. It felt 10 million.
yeah. So anyway, man. As far as here's the thing that keeps getting to me about these movies, right? So far, only $21 million. That's worldwide, right? Ugh.
Ooh.
Uh, so far, Rotten Tomatoes 89%. So far, the fan meter 85%. People are loving this movie, so it's like it might be a slow roll with word of mouth. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
But I mean, with those kind of numbers, I'm like, wow, it's really, really people are connecting with this movie. And no, nobody's going to see it. So anyway, long way around, you guys. So let's get this started. Before we go any further, it is time for our section where we just give one word to describe the whole thing. You could actually turn off the podcast after. I'm just playing. One word, Tiff. What you got for one word?
My one word is okay.
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 Explain.
So you get the gist of the movie in the first 15 minutes or so, and then it feels like a bit of a long slog. And I know that it's not really about what it's about. And I did enjoy like the camaraderie between the two lead boys specifically. They had a lot of like really tender moments that I enjoyed.
Mhm.
But other than that, I think it like relied a lot on like I understood what the message was, and then I had to sit there and hear someone kind of clumsily explain that to me over and over again.
Well, I don't know if the actual message is that clear. I like to discuss the messaging of the movie
Okay.
between you and I. So my one word was damn. Sorry, y'all. I knew what this movie was about, but it was still shocking. I was shocked. I was like,
To see
damn.
the kids get killed over and over again.
Well, it was just that, and it was just the whole way that society was organized and stuff like that. And in lieu of what the hell is going on in this country, it resonated with me big time because of that. And we can get into it once we get into spoilers and things like that. So this movie was directed by Francis Lawrence. I don't know him,
As a
but
Hunger Games person.
no, well, now I'm really unimpressed. So I'm just not impressed with those movies, man. My daughter loves them. She would like skewer me to hear say that. Like, I mean, she loves them. So Francis Lawrence, a group of teenage boys complete the annual contest known as the Lone Walk, in which they must maintain a certain walk speed or get shot. Yes, but more to it than that. So man, I would. This is a short story, as you pointed out, right? I
Hmm.
would like to read it at this point, because like some of the flashback scenes and things like that, it's just like I would like to. It just seems like there was more there. You know what I'm saying? There
Hmm.
was, and I would like to know. I was a little nosy about some of the stuff, like even the story about the major seemed like it was just lightly touched on. Like we were supposed to really, really hate him.
I think there was also some stuff that we were just supposed to maybe understand. Like, how is the major everywhere?
Yes, I mean they mentioned him in the beginning, when the boy was getting ready, Well, let's
Hmm.
just get into it.
Yes,
So,
yes.
movie starts off and like, they give like a little written documentation of what's going on, to kind of catch you up. Fine. Definitely an alternate universe here, because this never happened. This time has not happened. It's in the 70s. It was kind of easy to pick up from the cars and stuff. But I wasn't sure because I never read the thing, of course, but I thought it might have been like the Hunger Games,
Hmm.
because everything looks old timey, like where the people live, the normal people, right?
Hmm.
But then in the cities, it's all technologically advanced and stuff. And so I wasn't sure if we were looking when it started, if it was like in the future somewhere, after some kind of big cataclysm.
Sure, sure.
Where are you at it with the so far, Jeff?
It felt like alternate reality future, like both. Where like we've regressed in some respects, and that's why we don't see a lot of I get the feeling, right, that like these people are using cars in the futuristic city, they're maybe not doing that. And so
And
we
just
have old cars. Do you know
yeah.
what I mean? Right. So like that's why the cars have stopped being produced, because the big city does. That was kind of the feel I got,
Hmm. Hmm.
because of
Hmm.
some of like the technology implications. It wasn't necessarily that we saw a lot of big technology, but like there's no way that you could run, like for instance, a national lottery without some kind of
Where the antennas,
computing
where yeah.
system and stuff like that.
Well,
Um,
even if it was old timey from the 70s, right? If you think about how television was ran, I mean, there was wires everywhere. You know what I'm
mhm.
saying? There was no radio broadcasts. You know what I'm saying? It was all still going. Through it. Yes, the air for radio waves, but you know they had big, bulky, clunky cameras. Which you really couldn't carry around all that much. You know what I'm saying? They were like on wheels and stuff like that, especially for something that was going to be sustaining and stuff like that.
Yeah, this seemed like a live stream.
Yes, especially the take truck that had the cameras that was just
Right.
rotating and stuff. So I understand your perspective on that. I didn't think about it like that, but yes. So this boy is talking about the major, and he's going to this thing in the lottery. Mom's freaking out, as a mom would if she was going to war. They mentioned the war, they mentioned the major. Uh, I didn't know anything about this. As I said for the third time, I won't say it again, but I assumed that this guy was going to end up being one of the son of the major. I was like, is that a father? Is the father?
You mean the main character?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Well, so not to jump ahead, but sometimes you have to when you're discussing an overall movie. So there's the kid who is the major's son.
There is one, but I thought it was going to be Ray. I
Well,
thought
I
Ray was
just,
going to be.
from the beginning of the movie, I thought that that kid was just known to be his son. So when they revealed it, I was like, didn't we know that that was his son?
The kid who was actually his son.
Yeah,
Fuck, I didn't know. I
I
don't know
did.
talking
I
about.
because
What
he
are you
called.
talking
Okay,
about? I didn't know. I didn't have a fucking clue.
I was
No,
like, oh, that's his son, because he said
right.
he called him son,
Called
and I
him
know
all.
that he
Yeah.
was calling, but he didn't do that until later. That was the first and only kid during the introduction that he called son. Now I know that that's like son or boy or whatever he's calling people is just
especially those
champ.
old, especially those old military heads. That's
Yes,
exactly what they're
and
going
I
to say.
understood that, but I thought,
It didn't
oh,
nothing
that's
for me.
his son.
Not at
But
all.
I
Not
like
at all. Not
for me,
at all.
it was very. I was like, oh, okay.
And I wasn't trying to dissect this. I was just
I
telling
wasn't. I mean, I wasn't. I went in there and I just was sitting there, but
you. Mhm.
I just assumed that. I don't know if it's like was just like poor foreshadowing or what, but like I was like, okay, cool.
I don't It wasn't poor foreshadowing for me. I didn't. I'm telling you, I wasn't like being like having a senior moment or anything either. I just assumed he would just call this one son, this one boy, this one whatever.
Mhm.
He was just that old gruff military, commander that would say that to just about anybody. He would say it to me, and well, Mark Hamill is still a lot older than me, but but still. Um, so I like the opening scene where they're getting to know each other. Smartly done because it's not what I expected. I expected some Hunger Games shit, but everybody's a douche. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, yeah, these are the last people you're gonna talk to on the planet.
And
Why would you like be a douche to everybody?
I do want to talk to that point of the messaging is like one thing I did like is
Hmm.
because I feel like even within the movie sphere, when we have these sort of like Running Man or Hunger Games or this movie, where there's a future where the masses are destitute and they will do anything to try to remove that to survive, to try to remove that burden from themselves,
Yeah,
which is a lot of discussion in this movie. And I feel like a lot of movies and a lot of things like that portray the masses even still as like disgusting,
Rabble.
who would kill other people in the group on purpose just to get their chances up, and that doesn't really happen in this movie.
No,
um
kind of
there's
once,
one
but not
instance,
really.
but
But
and he
yeah,
feels very badly about it, which we don't see in a lot of these type of movies. We always get a character who is a piece of shit, and I'm not saying, you know what I mean, like, but there is this understanding that like these people are forced into a desperate situation and
yeah.
that doesn't make them garbage, right?
Right. And so that actually stood out to me too. Is like that people were genuinely trying to be cool, but they all had issues from being destitute, and it just it it resonated with me big time because it was just like, man, with the economy right now and things that's going on, and this movie
Mm.
was being made and was written way before the things that's happening in around today is happening, but it resonated with me especially because I just kept seeing like they was like, after the war, blah blah blah, now we're doing this and this big distraction tactic, literally, inflicting violence, in the most visceral way possible to distract everybody else from uh, your situation is shitty. And they even had
Mhm.
conversations, as they were walking, saying, "Hey, uh, everybody joins the lottery knowing that it's a terrible thing, but nobody ever thinks it's going to get picked, and then you got to start thinking, well, will I win the lottery? Well, you're crazy if you do this bullshit anyway. So so anyway, I thought it was interesting that in the book that it was people had to walk 4 miles per hour, and so Stephen King changed that for the movie to say it would be unrealistic. And after watching this goddamn thing, I agree because oh my
Mhm.
goodness, I was like, oh my feet was hurting watching these cats, man. I was just like, they even had a showing for publicity that they put treadmills in a theater and had everybody walk,
Walk the time of the movie.
and if you stopped, you got thrown out the movie. And
Woo!
that was
Okay, I love
interesting.
that. I actually really like
That's
that.
interesting. That would have been kind of fun. You know what I'm saying? You get out. So because yeah, 3 miles per hour is bad enough. Cause and look, I'm an expert now because I've been doing a lot of walking. I've been walking like 5 miles a
Mhm.
day, and so I'm like, man, that's 4 miles. Even 3 miles, you think is nothing, but every once in a while you get a little tired. You want to slow up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And they were like, bam, 47, that's your ass. You're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
My feet hurt watching this. I'm not even playing. I was literally in the theater, like trying to put my feet up and stuff and get them off the floor and everything. But then, so these cats start, man, and I didn't realize it was going to get this intense. Like people's ankles broke and they still trying to walk.
That was, and I know, here's the thing. I had one of the struggles for me during this movie was like, it's fake, obviously, it's not
Yeah,
real. So
yeah.
I gotta just swallow some of this shit. But when I saw that, I was like, no fucking way. Okay, no fucking way you're walking 3 miles an hour. You may be able to walk. Okay, I don't disbelieve that. Okay, 3 miles an hour. Nah.
Here's one thing that stood out for me right from the beginning. So they get their little snacks,
They're little tubes.
they get their little twos, their little snacks, and these kids, I guess, in back in the 70s, the knowledge of how should I say, uh, fitness just wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? Jane Fonda revolutionized the world with her jazzercise, right? Jogging was invented in the late 60s, and nobody knew anything about it, right? Nobody knew about hydration. Nobody knew about, the right, food for energy. You know what I'm saying? It just wasn't cognizant. And even like, even proven scientifically in some cases of certain things that's better for you or not. But I'm sitting there while they're sitting there talking, and I'm like, man, they ain't drinking no water. You know what I'm saying? Did they have a good meal last night? And I didn't even think about the nasty part,
Yeah, which I was. I'm excited to hear your thoughts on that.
oh my God. Okay, Tiff. So, first of
I
all,
don't.
some of the nastiest shit I've ever seen in a movie, right? I was like, I don't want to see it. Seeing it. I'm seeing it. So, seeing it was bad enough, right? And you saw it from the distance and, even closer. But then I was like, oh shit, I guess. So it was so funny listening to the one guy talking about, look, I'm regular every day for me. And I'm listening, I'm like, yes, I am. I was like, I'll be
Yeah.
doomed in this thing. I was like, I'll be so doomed. But then you got people who do go a week and stuff like that. And I was like, well, I guess they would be okay, right? But with all that exercise, I think that all bets are off. Your body is changing with
Okay,
all that.
now I don't. Why wouldn't you just poop in your pants? Like
I
I'm
thought
not.
about that.
I'm
I
not.
thought about
I'm not saying that I want to poop in my pants. I'm just saying that the choice is poop in my pants or get shot. I'm gonna poop in my pants, even if later I might fall down and get shot.
that.
Like I
Yeah,
don't want
well,
to get shot.
no. The first guy, especially, right? Because he had to like assume the position, right? He was like squatting and shit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys should have packed some shorts, not some underwear, but like some shorts. And
Yeah.
then at night,
Swap
had
them.
you some
Swap them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So at least something that you can like try to do something
Wiggle it,
quickly in.
step. That's worth a penalty. Then walk for the next hour, get it back.
Guess what else? They're giving you as much water as you want. Just keep pouring
Right.
it down your back. Keep pouring it down
Yeah,
your
but
back.
yeah,
Keep
just
pouring
get
it down
rid
your
of
back.
it.
Pouring it
Yeah,
down your
like
back. Yeah, they didn't think that out. You know what I'm
you know,
saying? I
and
mean,
I get that that's there, and I will concede that if you're trying to communicate something to an audience, you can't always do the most logical thing because what we're trying to do is the most likely to shock you into a realization if we haven't already arrived
yeah,
there,
but these
right?
boys was unprepared. However, no internet. Basically at
Still, well, I
basically at that time
guess
you had encyclopedias. That was the wealth of your knowledge in your home was
maybe
some
you thought, and there
academy.
was that discussion because we see the flashback where knowledge of before times or anything like that is
Forbidden.
illegal. Yeah,
And that
so
that resonated with me so much as far as like what was happening like this week in politics. You know what I'm saying? I was like, holy shit, man. I mean, how close with this? Look how close
and
this
yeah, I
is.
mean, I think that you can't avoid
Look
thinking
how
about
close
that
this is,
stuff.
and it's
Yeah.
just like motherfucker. Oh my god. Let me stop. But anyway, that's how I felt when I was watching it. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, look how close, like, look, you know, and this nothing's new in this commentary, right?
Correct. This is not new,
Look,
but that doesn't mean anything, right?
people loving to watch crowds loving to watch violence, the Roman times, even when you got like this all this silly ass like the Olympian shows and stuff for all this shit, right? We want to see the violence on TV. Every movie, half the movie posters in the world, like that's produced, like has like a person with a gun in their hand. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
And even
And
and
so,
I think like there is like there's this idea of like people now who are be like, I would never do that. Reality television is so popular and it is based on the idea
yep,
of Schadenfreude, where you're just like these miserable fucks or
yep,
these stupid idiots
yep,
or whatever it is that you're
yep,
feeling while you're watching that.
yep.
It's like a voyeuristic, nasty, a lot of times thing that you're doing. And I mean, I'm not saying I'm innocent from any of this. I'm just saying that just extrapolate that a little further to where they have dehumanized people because that's what they do. They dehumanize
100%. And look, I will stand on my pedestal and say I've never been a fan of what do you call it?
reality
Reality
television.
TV. I effing hate it. I have watched reality TV. Don't get me wrong. I remember when Brick Brother, which is like 20 something years old now, when it first came on, it was like, what is this? Let's watch it. And
Mhm.
quickly I was like, well, this is bullshit, right? And then it's been other things that have come up that I wanted to watch because I was interested in the theme. Like I said, that jousting program, which
Mhm.
I'm like, I want to watch the jousting, and then it become drama. You know what I'm saying? And then even like below decks because I'm into boats. I started watching that and it was like, oh, this is just reality TV. You know what I'm saying? I want to see, like these people like, do their job on these boats and see how it's
Mhm.
done. But then quickly it all divulges into drama, into the drama
Drama.
queen stuff, and then you're like, it's just another damn reality show.
Yeah,
This is
and I
no
think
documentary, you know what I'm saying? This is not showing
right.
how this is done. So go ahead.
And that stuff gives me anxiety. But I think like there's other things that we don't like. So for me, when I say, because I watch a lot of um panel shows or whatever, and then I watch a lot of like competition reality television, like the Great British Bake Off,
All
which
right.
is still reality television.
And
I don't think it's like the same.
they still bring the same dumbass drama into that stuff. They
It's
still kind of
yeah, so
do
it's
it.
just like but I feel like people like me will not saying to people like me will be like, oh, I don't watch that, but a lot of people do. A lot more people do than they even realize they do.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
But yeah, so I'm just saying, like, if you go a little further, if we like do these things, then like, yeah, stuff happens incrementally. It happens slowly so that you don't notice. Sometimes it happens really fast, but it's because there's been a groundwork laid slowly.
So you say cocaine, and I'm like genius because that was
It can
I'm just no,
release.
no, no. But what I'm saying is it's 1970, and it's
Yeah.
it's literally a mirror into where we at right now. Almost, almost. I mean, not we definitely not marching people down the road and killing them, after some war, but just the spectacle of somebody else's suffering is just like always like right there on the dumb idiot box. And so I don't know, man. I think my taste is changing.
Mm.
As far as like even like just I don't know. It's just always so much worthless like stuff that's available, and I think I'm just getting a little bit more choosy to be dealing with things that just might just raw entertain. Like I don't know. Maybe that's why scary movies is like you know
They're coming back. They're coming for your authentic
intriguing
self.
me because I just want to, I don't, let's just, watch this foolishness and keep it moving. Anyway, man, not to step off my
Yeah, we went off.
yeah, to step off my high horse. Let's talk about like the what the star of the show was the acting of all these young
Agreed.
you know, I thought that these little dudes were doing their thing, all of them, all of them. Um, I was interested in every character that was introduced, even the ones that you like mildly look at. Like, what was the story of the kid with the braids that had the radio smiling and then took off running butt naked?
Yeah,
He had a story to tell.
there
You know
was
what I'm saying?
no information, right? But I wonder if this is like, if you read the short story, you'll get a little bit more information about them, or if they're always just sort of background characters that give a little something.
Yeah, yeah. So we had Gary, who was played by Charlie Plummer, and I was looking to see if he was like Chris Plummer's grandson, but I didn't see any relation. But his parents are. He played the asshole that was like convinced the kid to swing on him and stuff, and then he ended up getting shot. And I thought that dude was gonna win the whole thing. Like I was like,
I thought he would be one in the last two, and it would, like, I didn't know which direction this movie was going to go in, which is good. Like, are we going to end up with people we don't want to see have to go against each other because they love each other as brothers, or an asshole that we're like, fuck that guy,
yeah, yeah.
you
Well,
know?
if this was the really real world, that guy would be,
He would have won, yes,
yeah,
yeah.
for sure.
And he would have done more. I feel like he would have done more violent things probably because of he'd already done it.
Well, you can only do so much, right? You can't be like
Right.
put.
He would, and like, but he actually did feel bad. I take that back because I feel like he genuinely felt bad, which I didn't think they'd be able to convey to me in the show.
I
Because I
think
kept
he only
thinking,
felt bad after giving it some time. I thought he was perfectly fine with it until if he would have been by himself doing that, I think he would have never thought about it. But I think he felt the eyes of civilization on upon him
mm,
from his colleagues. You know what I'm saying? And his definition of what civilization and civility itself just didn't exist until he was around these other fellas who were all extremely civilized, to be, in a world treating them like animals. Like the story of Peter, played by David Johnson, like was just, damn, he showed the cuts and stuff on his face. Um, Raymond Ray's story was interesting until after I seen the father shot. Then I was like, oh, I see his motivation to killing the major was just like kind of weak to me. You know what I'm saying? I was like, how many people did that happen to? And I'm not saying that, you know, you wouldn't want revenge or something like that, but it
well, he
seemed to
did
go a
say that
long
he thought that if he did that, it would be a message that like sparked the people essentially to like rise up.
way. And then I guess, just to be fair, all these kids were just dumb kids. None of them were
Yeah. They have to be like
philosophical.
below a certain age or something like that. And so like a lot of them
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
like literal children. So
Yeah, yeah. So I don't know, man. I really enjoyed the acting and the conversations were really good.
so as negative as I was about earlier, there's the part where they come to the hill. And right
Ooh-wee.
before the hill, we see that Ray and Peter um are having a fight.
Yeah, because Ray just turns into a dick to him.
First, so that there were some inconsistencies there too, and I think that we are supposed to. So that's like, I wish they would have like been more explanatory, even though they put the burden on the audience to be like, okay, I think he's like in some kind of like sleep based
I think it was all. I
psychosis.
think all that stuff was exhaustion, man.
Right.
You
Right.
great,
So that's what we're supposed to assume, right? And he's like, and then he treats him like garbage. He says he doesn't really need anything. And then he's going up this hill and he's not gonna make it up the hill.
he would have not have made it if it wasn't for Peter. And we're calling them by their first names, but they literally call mostly by their
Last names.
last
Ray
name.
was Ray and he was McFry's.
He was Garrity. I thought it was Met Garrity, but
Yeah.
and so him pulling him up that hill was like,
And he talking to him and you're like, oh,
I had no doubt at that point. I was like, I was like, McVick, what was it, Varys?
Yeah.
He was the most decent person there. And a lot of those fellas were decent because Arthur Baker was decent, Hank Olson was decent, and they found out he had a wife and stuff like that. You know, um, the one who was like the son, Steppens, like he had he had no real story other than just trying to finish. He wasn't even trying to finish for his father because he was like, I'm one of the many
I
kids he got out there. I
Yeah,
mean,
and I
so
think we are okay as an audience with these people who seem like kind of shitty to us in some ways because they're not joining because they're like, as a viewer, you're like seeing that as like a visual cue. Like these guys are they have camaraderie, they're building each other up. But then there's not a lot of blame in this movie because there's
it's true.
some increment of understanding shown to all the characters.
And we are
Where
all
like,
right.
yeah, so like he's like, I'm just trying, like, there was like this attitude, oh, I'm just trying to get through, I'm a loner or whatever. And there wasn't anything held against these characters. It was just saying,
That's true. That's
this
true.
is going to be a bad, and that's one of the things I was thinking while watching this is like, and I don't think they shied away from this, but like being like, well, you all know that eventually you're all going to have to go but one. That's the whole idea. So,
Yeah,
like,
and they addressed that in the movie at one point, um, which actually turned out not to be true. You know what I'm saying? I mean, what toward the ending here, and it's we can only talk about this for so long. Toward the ending here, no, I'm saying because they're just walking, but it was some horrific shit, man. The boo
yeah.
boo, the
So the shooting, every shot, even though like I knew what's going to happen, you're just like, "Hmm." And the movie, quiet, obviously at that time, except for the gunshot.
and I
It's
don't
just you in the
know why it
audience.
took them so long. They would be like, "You get 4 chances." They'd be like, "3," and then it was like 20 minutes before
Right.
that bullet, was being shot. Um, but some of them went out like soldiers, grabbing the guns. The one kid, Joshua, he ended up no, not Joshua, was the Parker. He ended up killing some people. He killed one of the soldiers
Mm-hmm.
and stuff, and so every death was completely different. Not that I wanted to see a variety of death because I was like them. I wanted to turn away from some of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, I don't want to see this kid go. I kept seeing this stuff, these deaths and shit. I'm like, gave me that Squid Games vibes. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
oh, oh, shit.
And
Oh.
they do that thing in the middle there on the hill where they're like, we'll just cut some, just
Here's my
gone.
question, Jeff.
Hmm.
Where's the cleanup crew? Do they just leave these bodies on the road until
I
it's over?
assume so. And I wonder if that's what the dead cow rotting on the side of the road meant. They just like, who cares?
Jesus.
Do you know what
I'm
I
like,
mean?
there has to be a truck coming and grabbing these bodies off the road, man.
No, not especially if Stephen King wrote it. He's just like, they were dead on the road.
The disdain for the dead, in this movie. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Mm,
like, God, man, and the cops coming out there saluting. I thought it was an honorable thing, but they weren't saluting them; they were saluting the soldiers. You know what I'm
right.
saying? I'm like, this sucks, man. This so much sucks. Those kids that was on the heels on a bike. The kid is telling them,
Yeah, that was like, he's like, go away.
and they like, oh.
Right.
But then they had a nice scene addressing that, also saying, hey, look, you know, they've been conditioned to do this, just like everybody else, right now. This condition and propensity to put people against each other, and look, y'all, going back into reality, everybody got to stop fighting. You got a couple of rich people in this goddamn country and this world getting so much rich because we fighting each other. This shit got to stop. We got to stop. We got to stop. We got to stop. That's where the real power is. Back to the movie. I'm just saying the same shit was going on there. He explained it right there. And that was back in 1970. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't like because of things happening now. And I was like, oh, that's pretty good. So it resonated with me a lot. Just the social commentary for me was way enough for me to really enjoy this piece because I saw so many different aspects of what is bad in this goddamn society in different parts of this movie. There wasn't the totality of the movie. I saw something there. I saw, the censorship of the dad there. I saw the spectacle there. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And then I saw humanity in the characters who had nothing to do with each other, who came from all 50 states, that were able, mostly as a whole, to come together and be together in this shitty time and realize I would rather die with a friend. The majority of those kids out there enjoyed each other, despite their fact that they were all going to die. And I thought that's what I got out of it the most. That was like, they didn't allow the establishment to have ultimate power
Yeah.
of their
To
mind.
decide, right.
Even with the protests, F the major, F the games, the walk, and I was like, I'm understanding this now. So that I was getting into the shit, man. I was like, and then like just seeing the feet just bothered me. I was like, man, this is
When
before
he lost those shoes, I was like,
he about to be bare feet out there with the, oh my god.
no.
Look,
But that little rocks. It could be
hey,
feet.
look, and tennis shoes
He
hadn't come
walked like
anywhere.
40 miles with those shoes.
And
I was like, how?
did anybody have any spare shoes? You know what I'm saying?
Well, I was just thinking, like, I thought he saw his mom and his mom was gonna throw out some flip-flops or something.
I don't think she was probably allowed because remember, there's no spectators allowed except if you're along the way and it happened to be along the way.
Mm,
She didn't even know. She was like, your feet, because she think he had a little shoe. And my man,
that one guy should have taken his shoes off.
well, you saw some people who had like shoes dangling, but I don't know if you could even maintain 3 miles per hour and put on some damn shoes. You know what I'm saying? And
You'd have to take the penalty.
yeah, but it seemed like they was at the last strike the whole movie, right? They just kept getting it, kept getting it, kept getting it. Walking in the rain. I mean, Tiff, it was like 400 something miles.
It was a lot of miles. You
Tiff,
would just
I'm
be
walking 5 miles a day now, and I'm like, oh, I'm coming home like,
right. Your legs will fall off.
dude, I'm so exhausted. I know I'm an old man, but I don't think I would ever have been able to do that. Not that I would want to,
Right, with straight with no sleeping, even though they said they slept, which is like,
Tiff, even with sleeping, I thought at a moment when it got dark, I said, oh, they must gonna let them camp out for the night. You know what I'm saying? No. Oh God. Such a horrific experience to take something so simple and twist it into something that's ugh, just torture.
yeah,
Torture. Oh God. Eesh. We'd have all made a pact, the last 5 guys, like, look, we're gonna draw some straws, something, because this shit got
yeah.
to stop.
I'm tired.
But your rest was getting killed. That's something, right?
Yeah. So, but like, imagine, and I think there's that there too. That a lot of people, they just work until they just literally can't. Like, you know what I mean? Like they're just in this trap, whatever
Yeah.
they're trapped in. It's just until they cannot.
Yeah. So
And so,
did I enjoy the movie? Yes, I did.
mm,
I did. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it mostly the acting and the social commentary. The dialogue was phenomenal. I'm sorry. It was just whoa, unapologetically just beautiful. I was like, the dialogue is so good. Um, the intricacies of the movie didn't exist. $20 million, I don't see.
yeah, $20 million. Where'd that go?
What about you? What do you
I think the messaging is good. It's a little clumsy to me, but there are things to enjoy. I also want to say, beyond anything that I might feel about the movie itself, I do appreciate something that isn't just a fucking sequel
or just
or in the
shoot 'em
same
up or
universe as,
something,
or it's
yeah.
not connected to anything. It's
Yeah.
just its own
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Just done.
I mean, even though there were guns and stuff, but it wasn't a shootout movie or anything like that.
Right. It was just, I just want to see some stuff that like take a chance, even if it's like, not the big, blockbuster thing we all want. I just want to see some different stuff.
Yeah, and I actually want to see it in the big blockbusters that we all want, right?
Well, yeah, of course. We want to see that too. But like it just I need there needs to be some fresh. It's like we're getting served the same rotten meat over and over again, and we're just like,
It's a good point.
let's
It's a
stop.
good point. Well, this was different and I like it.
Yeah. I appreciate that it was different.
Yeah. Um Peter wins, Tiff.
Yes. And
Peter
then
wins.
okay, I want to ask you about the end here.
Yeah, let's talk about the end because let's talk about it.
So Peter wishes for Ray's wish. He wishes for the carbine.
Yeah.
And
To
then he
honor his
shoots.
friend who sacrificed himself for him, and I assume that's why he did it.
Mm-hmm.
But
And he shoots the manger.
yes.
And then he's walking by himself. So I'm assuming he died.
I don't know.
Yeah, I am unsure.
I don't know, and I wouldn't be so quick to say
And
that.
I think maybe the idea is that it doesn't matter if he died or not because he's walking off into this unknown, this emptiness. You know what I mean? Like
That's true. However, Ray did bring up the fact that he was like, "You'll be killed." He was like, I don't know. I'm not sure about that because it was my wish." And so that doubt was there because it's not like nobody knew what to do. And he like, that was my wish. Bam, shot this bastard. Now I'm going about my business. And so I wasn't 100% sure that they'd be like, shoot him or grab him and he has to answer for that because I mean, the kid had already brought it up. I'm not sure they would kill, So that doubt is really heavy. So, you know, I don't know if he gets his cash. I don't know if he just walks off. I don't know if they snipe him. I don't, whatever, but the deed was done. The point was that
I think like there is that maybe the idea
I
that we're
don't like
not
it that he
supposed to
did that.
know.
I don't like that he did it though, Tiff.
I don't either, because he told the other guy not to do it, and I was like, he doesn't seem like he would have done it.
He was a pure character, right? He said he did a lot of bad shit, right? But he experienced a near-death experience and he just became a good person and saw the beauty in life and tried to instill that in other people. Did a very good job of doing that in this movie. And then his friend sacrificed himself so I could feel honor, a sense of honor and obligation, not even obligation, but just honor to somebody, probably your greatest friend you ever had in your life, right? Um, but I don't know if I would sell myself down the river for something I don't believe in.
Right, and that's already too late to change. I
Yes.
guess, I mean, they're talking about the whole system, so maybe
I
not,
get
but
it, but and I get that, all of that shit had to be spinning through the mind that maybe this cat is right, maybe my purity isn't worth, you know, not making this statement for him, because he felt that it was important. And so it was a lot. One little thing, right, just left a lot of thoughts in my mind, like I was sitting there and they wouldn't turn on the damn lights for people to get up. Like it was going to be like another scene or something, like it was dark and it was like showing the music and stuff. And I'm like, could you turn on the lights? I'm
I
old
gotta
now.
get out of here.
Yeah, I want to get the hell out of here. So did I like the ending? Yeah, I did. I like it ambiguous, like
Little questioning, little what
yeah,
happens
yeah, yeah,
next?
yeah.
Only you can know, maybe the audience member. You know what I mean? What's your
Unless
answer
you
to
read
what
the
would
book,
happen
and there's
next?
there's definitely something that happened
I
in the book.
bet I bet there's a lot of stuff that you won't like as much.
Now, this is something that I could tell you that what I don't like about the movie, and maybe you know what I really didn't like about the movie is that I felt like I was missing a lot of things on the outside of the camera. Even with the
Mm.
flashbacks and stuff they showed, and some of the higher character development. Like I didn't hate the major. Even from the stuff they told me, I didn't hate him, and I think I was supposed to hate him. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm.
I was just like, there just wasn't enough there. Plus, like every time Mark Hamill was talking, all I hear is a Joker and shit. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sitting,
Yeah, you could like cut some of the stuff, the walking out, because we saw a lot of that.
yeah, yeah.
And put some more flashbacks in there.
I did not hate the major, and I think that's a misstep. I mean, how did you feel? Did you hate the major, or we just, I don't know. How did you?
Yeah, I thought he was meant to be sort of like a big brother character, sort of like omnipresent,
Yeah,
but not really. Like so, like I felt like because the guns are there too. It's hard to like in your mind assign him as the threat level because he's never actually the one. He does shoot a couple people, but it's mostly the soldiers.
and a lot of shit he
So
was saying was funny. I mean, I'm sitting there
you
cracking
mean
up.
like when he's like tug on your nut sacks and shit like that?
All that shit, man. I'm cracking up at all that dumb stuff, man. He's like, F the major, F you, and all this stuff. And he was like, that's it, boys. I'm just like, God, he was funny to me, So I'm like, I don't hate this dude, but
I think people did laugh at that in my theater as well.
I
Yeah,
thought I'm supposed to hate him, right? But I just
you
didn't,
didn't get
I didn't,
enough information to hate him.
yeah, I didn't see enough. And I didn't need to see him like killing babies and shit. Him killing the father was just like, reminded me of stuff going on now for folks showing up to people's houses and maxes and stuff, and I was just like, this sucks, but that's a wheel in the cog, the old, she texting the shit out of me. Let me see. You froze. No, you froze.
Oh, okay.
You
I turned
bet.
my camera off in case it was me who froze. I hope. Yeah, interesting.
No, you were froze like this.
Ooh.
I'm like, what I open, what I close.
She's beauty, she's grace, she's Miss United States.
So all I was saying was that I didn't hate him, and I think that
You
I
should,
was.
yeah.
It was more somewhere, maybe in the book, maybe not, maybe less in the book.
Yeah, who
You know?
fucking knows?
Yeah,
Not
you know,
I.
because I didn't read the book. Anyway, I might like do some quick cliff notes or something, you know,
Yeah, get on the Wikipedia.
or ask Chat
I'll
GPT to
just show
sum it up
you.
real quick for me, you know, sum it up real fast. So, you know, the major in the book. Anyway, I don't have anything else, Tiff. Do you?
No.
All right, my name is Montago. You came to do the damn thing. We got it done. You've been here hanging out with Fans of Patrol. This week we took on the Long Walk, Stephen King's thing, and which is first, the Long Walk or uh, the Running Man? You know, kind of this almost the same kind of
That's
theme, but
got. I think he just wanted to write a bunch of dystopia and futuristic short stories and novels about video or about game shows,
yeah,
basically.
yeah, yeah. Well, there we go. Like you say, cocaine. Anyway, LSD something.
So
Anyway, um, next week, is it time for spooky? I don't know.
I think so.
Okay, maybe
I
we'll
say
do
yes.
maybe we'll do the one I've been dying to see because I haven't seen this one yet. I haven't seen
Oh,
weapons yet, man. I would have been
I
dying to see
think
that
that
one.
we should.
We should too, you know. So
Transitional movie.
yeah. So anyway, man, I'm the host of Fans of Patrol. With me is my adorable co-host, Miss Tiffobot. Say goodbye to the people, Tiff.
It's my pleasure as always.
And until next week, man, we will be